I can't have you on the show, Steve, without asking you about Apple. Of course, as the co-founder of Apple, we're seeing really heightened antitrust scrutiny on Apple, not just in the United States, but around the world. Tim Cook is scheduled to testify next week in front of the House Antitrust Subcommittee. Do you think that Apple is doing anything anti-competitive?
I don't often talk about Apple things. I'm not in operations directly. And sometimes I have negative opinions about Apple being a little too much control over you. But I've thought about this one, this one that's going on right now with antitrust. And I actually take Apple's side on this one. So I don't want to say more than why. What's the big issue? You're going to have to refresh me.
Well, the issue is the App Store, the fees that they charge developers.
Yeah, 30% and giving you guarantees and protection and security in the apps that you could possibly download. When you look at what happened in the Android world, oh my gosh, yeah, I don't object to the 30% at all.
So
then when you look at if there's a little app maker that has an app and Apple does the same thing, everybody uses the Apple one, it could be weather, whatever. It could, in a lot of those cases, the app makers just don't build in the security protection that Apple offers its customers. And I believe in that very much. So on this one, I'd probably take Apple's side, but I don't know till I watch it.
What about the fact that Apple doesn't just run the gates to the App Store, is the gatekeeper to the App Store, but also has its own apps competing in the App Store, like Apple Music? Is that anti-competitive?
I think that'd be very good.
Why?
Why? Because it would be competitive. Apple would have to compete more face-to-face, and you'd see some of the other apps that people do good things as well. I don't think Apple should just run them over and build music into the iPhone. So I think that'd be more competitive. I'm for openness, competitiveness, more equality throughout things. I don't like it when the big shark eats the small penguin. That's how I am.
Well, in some cases, folks think that Apple is the big shark and is preventing innovation because they are making it more difficult for smaller companies to succeed in the App Store, according to the critics.
I'll have to listen to the investigation, or I'll have to listen to the questions and the answers to have an opinion. I am against the being so big you can overrun the little guys, but if you're providing an extremely good service that they aren't, you're protecting your customers from apps that are bad or do bad things for people, all the better. Ones that are not protecting, not even looking after your own privacy and trying to escape. No, Apple's got a real good mind on that. I like Apple. I like Tim Cook quite a bit, but that doesn't mean I'm going to agree with everything. When I see it live, I might have comments that, I don't know, I think Apple could do something a little different, but who knows? So
there's this question of, should Apple be broken up? That is what lawmakers are considering right now. What do you think?
I think they've got a lot more public opinion on Facebook being broken up.
So, well, that is my next question, because Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Facebook, Sundar Pichai of Alphabet, and Jeff Bezos of Amazon, they're all testifying before this House Antitrust Subcommittee, and they're all facing antitrust scrutiny. How do you think Apple's position compares to Facebook or Google or Amazon?
Apple's is just better overall, in my opinion, for having protected users the best and cared about civil rights and cared about different types of people by gender, by race, by ethnicity, and caring and keeping them all equal. It's the only big tech company that pays equally by gender for the same job. So I just admire Apple so much for that. Now, I really sometimes think that Apple could have different divisions, one for computers, one for iPhones, they don't have to all be in one small local campus. They could farm out, because I've seen other companies do that, but they should be broken up. Mm-hmm. They should only be broken up if they're really, doing something bad, and to the users. The end user is the little guy. That's the little penguin, and it's, so you better find something really much worse that Apple's doing.
You mentioned Facebook and civil rights. Are you disappointed with how they've handled some of the president's posts on the Black Lives Matter movement?
More than just disappointed, the way most people are, more. Just based upon the sort of the sort of intent that comes out, especially when Mark Zuckerberg speaks, but other representatives of his, it just comes across as to, hiding the real matter and the real truth and covering it up. So I just have negative feelings that way, but then again, other people will have different opinions, and mine is not the only one.
So when you say more than just disappointed, what do you mean?
Well, I think a lot of people express the reasons for the disappointment. You quoted it, so you know that. I just get more the way somebody presents something to me. It shows an inner integrity and inner honesty or not. And I don't really read that. I read it more like reading a script is not genuinely honest. And that's the feeling I get more, especially when Mark Zuckerberg speaks. And I could be totally wrong. If I knew him personally, I'd probably say, oh, now I see another side, but that's my opinion just from a few times I've watched him on TV. Remember, I don't watch TV either. So rarely do I get to see these things. Usually just somebody sends me an old school email with a YouTube post.
The argument has been made that these US tech companies shouldn't be broken up because of China, because you've got these huge technology companies, Huawei, Tencent in China, and this would have a huge consequence for US competitiveness and the ability of the United States to compete with China. Does that concern you?
You're getting way too political for me. I'm not political. I have never voted for a president in my life. I made a decision when I was 20 to be this way, not be political and to be an average person and not weird out there. And I just I'm not an extremist in any way. I'm against it. So I don't know all those ideas. You know what? Different people come to different opinions and they're all right.
Well, I'm curious for your thoughts on the rise of the Chinese tech industry. Obviously, as somebody who built, one of, if not the most successful technology company in the world, have you been paying attention to what they've been building in China? And do you think it could, these companies could edge out US technology companies?
Encounters in China have been on a technical level, and they're really, right. I look right down to the bottom level engineering, and they have the skills that they're good like us. We should just consider ourselves one family, in my opinion. We work together and, get the best. We'll do the parts we do best. You do the parts you do best, and we all win.